We are just blowing past all of the boring parts of the NFL offseason. We are already on to the kickoff of the NFL League meeting tomorrow in Orlando, Florida. We're going to hear from Sean Payton bright and early. He's going to be the first coach to talk, and we will carry all the exciting stuff he talks about right here on this channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I break down all things Denver Broncos, and it helps me out a ton if you like and subscribe. Can't believe we're almost at 6,000 subs, and that would be incredible if we hit that number before the NFL draft. So the competition committee is like a small subset of that NFL league meeting that we have starting tomorrow, and they put forth a bunch of proposals and a bunch of things that all the teams then vote on. And one of the things that I think really tips the Denver Broncos' hands as to what we're going to do with the 12th overall pick in the draft comes right here, that the NFL Competition Committee, the chairman, came out and said that he is concerned about the drop that we have had in scoring. As much as we love the 85 Bears or that Baltimore Ravens lockdown defense that won a Super Bowl, or even the Broncos Orange Crush defense or the Von Miller-led Broncos Super Bowl run, we know that what sells people's eyeballs on a game is usually a lot of scoring. If it's a 3-3 game and I don't care about either team, I'm usually turning it off. But man, if we're talking it's going to the fourth quarter and there's a lot of points, I like it. And if you look at the COVID year, we had teams scoring 49 points a game, and this year we're dropping down to 43 points a game. Now, obviously, there are some weird things that, like playing in empty stadiums, or as you remember, the Denver Broncos had the entire South stands full of the entire town of South Park in these cardboard cutouts, and this dude here in a face shield. That'd be a cool place to watch a game with Cartman there. But we know, like, obviously that is going to help scoring without the crowd noise, but there really was a lack of scoring in the two games we played. Pat Mahomes, he ended up in the end zone once, and the NFL wants to change that. And so I just think that there's going to be more of an emphasis on defensive holding and pass interference, and that we're gonna see scoring increase this year. And to me, that is just further sign that this year in free agency, especially bringing in Malcolm Roach, bringing in a backup linebacker and Cody, bringing in Brandon Jones, like all of our big free agency moves were really on the defensive side of the ball, hoping that we have a increase there with Greg Dulcich coming back from that injury. We traded Jerry Jeudy. And so truly the Denver Broncos, if they are going to meet this mandate and keep up with the NFL, which is going to prioritize offense, we better get better at offense. And so that leads me to think that the Denver Broncos will indeed pick a quarterback in the first round of the NFL playoffs. I also think, or the first round of the NFL draft, I also think the fact that we just didn't make a run at Garoppolo, we didn't offer Sam Darnold, we didn't get Minshew. There's still some rumors out there that we perhaps might try to sign Tannehill to a deal, but really it's Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci are our quarterbacks right now, and I think the Broncos are going to need to find another option. And so what's going to happen with that? And a couple other interesting things happened at this league meeting. They take this group photo, which to me, I just love this because this makes all of these guys who have watched on sidelines and see them all dressed up and they seem like larger than life. But seeing this, it's just like a awkward family photo. And here is the head coach picture. Notably absent from this picture, Sean Payton somehow didn't make the photo. He is at this league meeting, and other coach who didn't make it would be Eberflus from the Bears and Mike Tomlin from the Pittsburgh Steelers. My hope is that Sean Payton was grinding tape, and he's just like way too busy grinding tape and figuring out who he's going to draft to show up at this. Who knows where he truly was. His counterpart, George Paton, was here, right here in the middle. Like, that's the alpha spot right there to be. I'm kind of surprised he didn't go up on his tippy toes. That's one of my pro moves right there, but they're all there. Looking here at the quarterback options that we have, NFL Draft Scout put out quarterback comparisons and his ranking of all of them. And I just thought some of these, obviously these are never a dead-on match, but I think it gives us a good idea of who are their player comps for each of these different quarterbacks. So his player comp for Caleb Williams was Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, if the Bears could land a future Aaron Rodgers, they would take that for sure. You hear this time and time again about Jaden Daniels, that his player comp is Lamar Jackson. And again, Justin Herbert being the player comp for Drake May. Now, if I was the Patriots and I'm drafting at 3, if Justin Herbert is your ceiling for a dude and you know that you don't have all the offensive talent around him to flourish like Herbert maybe did, I could truly see the Patriots moving back at 3 and maybe even JJ hopping up over top of him, and you're hearing more and more buzz that JJ might actually go ahead of Drake May, which could be very interesting. Player comp for JJ McCarthy is Jake Plummer. And again, if you're thinking about what it would take for the Broncos to move up and get JJ, because it is now almost a done deal that JJ is not going to drop below that 6th round pick to the Giants, that if you're trading the farm or moving on from Pat Surtain for a guy whose ceiling is Jake Plummer with the current roster we have, I don't feel fantastic about that. We saw, I think, where is it? I have it, too many tabs open here, y'all. So this is a Cardinals blog, and they're basically ranking. They know they are open for business with that 4th overall draft pick, and they're saying like, hey, what would it take for us, and what is the best offer that we could get? And we know the Vikings want in. We've heard that the Raiders want in, and obviously the Giants want in, and they are saying that it is going to take 2 firsts. So it's a pick swap. Obviously, they would have the 12th pick in this year's draft, but then also next year's first-round draft pick. Not crazy about that. Obviously, if we're making the Super Bowl next year and that pick is 32, fine, like do it. But I think we are a couple of years away from making a deep, deep playoff run, and I'm not super comfortable trading up another first-round draft pick and just mortgaging our future even further. And looking at the comments on my last video, it seems like a lot of you are in that same exact boat. That, you know, it is a giant gamble, and I'm not a gambler, but I think if you're playing with house money because you're so good that you're like, hey, this, whatever, we're already good, we'll do it. We just don't have any house money. We're already handicapped by what we've done in trading for Russell Wilson. We don't have very many first-round picks on this entire team, and so to also lose out on next year's first, that really is less than ideal. A cool thing that I saw that I thought was very exciting, here's a cool article written by Cody Roark, who does Locked On Broncos, great podcast, first listen of your day. And he said, it's interesting right now that the Denver Broncos are already projected next year to have over $100 million in cap space, which would be way more than any other team moving into next year, which is super, super exciting. That if we could meet the need of a quarterback and we find our future dude, then next offseason, we are going to have more money than any other team. And right now we have $20 million in cap space, which rolls over to next year. So already we have over 100. That would bump that number obviously to 120. You need about $5 million to sign any of our rookies. So truly we'll only have about $15 million in cap space, but it's cool to me to think that the Broncos are able to roll that into next year, and be interesting to see what moves we could do if we indeed move that cap space over. Or are we going to, you know, if the quarterback that Sean Payton wants is not still available on the board at 12 and he doesn't feel comfortable with that, and let's say he gets a Brock Bowers, that tight end from Georgia, would we then bring in a Tannehill to compete with Ben DiNucci and Jarrett Stidham there to and kick the can down the road a little bit on our future quarterback for the Denver Broncos? Very curious to hear what y'all think about that. And yeah, I think that was all I wanted to go over this time. Broncos country is going to be a crazy couple weeks leading up to the draft. New uniforms, maybe. Excited about that as well. And let's giddy up. Ooh, just kissed the front rim. Just kissed it.